Good morning, everybody. I'm Nancy O'Neill. I'm a practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Tahoe-Truckee, and it's my joy and pleasure to welcome you here this morning. So glad to see all your bright faces and chatty mouths going on. It's so good to hear all that. But whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here with us. We know there are many paths to God, and we recognize that all these paths end in oneness and in love. So we are grateful that each one of you are here. And we also are grateful for those who are on Zoom that are live streaming this morning. So our center's purpose is love, and our vision is embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. So we set our intentions today by reading our receptivity statement that you'll see on our TV. So if you'll join me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I'm about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So this morning, we have our guest musician is Colleen Akiko. So actually, our musician actually decided not to come, but Colleen did, and so we are just so grateful. Yeah, and we all know Colleen. She's just been such an amazing member of our community. She does so much stuff, including our newsletter online every week. And so Colleen just came in at the most perfect time. So we are so grateful that Colleen is going to be our guest musician this morning. Surprise! Yeah. Thank
Well, it's good to be with family. Yeah. So let's see what happens. Um, in the silent meditation, I was just kind of inquiring. And it occurs to me that when we are thinking about self-care, that I actually can't even think about self-care unless I feel safe. And there's all kinds of ways of feeling safe. Sometimes it is physical safety, but oftentimes it's just feeling centered and grounded and emotionally okay. I don't know what everybody came in with, but even though it's sunny outside, it could be kind of stormy in your life or stormy in your heart. And this is super simple music morning. This is about as simple and distilled as it might get. A little bit of a chant. It is a chant. And I'll sing, and if you'd like, you can sing with me or you can echo after me. And if you're feeling really grandiose, you can launch into some harmonious something. But two little chants came to mind, and one is just simply, I am safe, all is well. And the other is just, I am here now, which has lots of levels of meaning. So whatever is right for you, may that be what happens. We're going to start kind of low. I'm not warmed up at all, and I had coffee, so heaven help us. And then we'll see if we can go a little higher after that. Ever notice how good it feels to just hum? I am safe, all is well. I am safe, all is well. I am safe, is well. I am safe. All 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 is well. I am here now. I am here now. I am, I am, I am. I am here now. I am here now. I am, I am, I am. I am here now. I am here now. I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am.
Oh. So, I'm the practitioner of the day this morning, among other things. So, if you'll just join me in an opening prayer, just do that by closing your eyes, going within, taking some deep breaths that gets you centered in this space. Gets you centered in knowing that really and truly we are all one. And this morning, it just has proven that we really are all one. One in mind, one in heart, one always with God. And so knowing that, knowing all those beautiful qualities that are God, one that stands out for me is love. That's what we're about here. And it just shows through all the time within who is speaking, who is being the musician, who's doing hospitality, who just showed up to see what we're all about. And that's what we are. Our purpose is love here. And so just knowing as we express that throughout the service, that moves out into the world, because what the world needs now is a lot of love. And we're able to trigger that. And so just in great gratitude for everyone being here this morning, especially Reverend Liz and Colleen. I am just so grateful to have this time together, to be in this space, and to grow and learn together as one. So I just allow that to be, as we say together, and so it is. So this morning's reading, no, Centers for Spiritual Living they set for the month um, a what we're all going to be talking about. It's just sort of like a little curriculum kind of thing, but it's about self-care this month. So the reading today is from the Daily Word of Unity, and it says, "Caring for myself means I have more to give to others. As much as I love to give from my heart and be of service, I can wear myself out if I don't take time for self-care. Today, I give myself the care and attention I so generously give others. I keep my schedule clear and rest as long as I feel I need to. I may pick up a neglected hobby, see a movie, get some exercise, or spend time with a friend. I may seek time in solitude, enjoying a leisurely walk, or doing some devotional reading. I accept the support of others. Just as I give care and help to the people in my life, I do not resist when they offer to care for and help me. My self-care practices renew and rejuvenate me. As I find my spiritual center and feel my energy being replenished, I am once again able to respond to the needs of others." So from Luke 11:34, "Your eye is the lamp of your body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body is full of light." That was interesting. So, yeah, it's a theme, embracing self-care. So today our guest speaker is Reverend Liz Luoma, who now lives in New Mexico. Santa Fe, New Mexico. So, you know what? Liz sent her bio, and I'll read a little bit of it. But she's a dynamic speaker, teacher, licensed ordained minister of Unity and Centers for Spiritual Living. And she was our minister here from 2012 to 2018, 6 years. It's usually 7 that the change happens, right? Oh, yeah. And she had an igloo for a house. So I always think about Liz, our center is to attract ministers right out of ministerial school. Um, so when Rev Liz came, she said, "Oh my God, this is boot camp." So I always think of that now as we've had several, almost all of our new ministers have been fresh out of ministerial school. And it is like boot camp. And I think it is a big surprise that they don't really teach everything in ministerial school about how interesting it is uh, to run a spiritual community. There's many facets to it, and there's so much to it. And I just think of Liz as in her boot camp. But now she is moved up the ladder from boot camp to now she could train all the boot campers. Um, yeah, and so she's at Unity of Santa Fe. That is the name of it, Unity of Santa Fe. So you'll find out she's a highly skilled speaker. She's a teacher. She leads workshops. She does everything. And so we are so grateful that she has come back to Tahoe for a little vacation and to, get a dose of us at Centers for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee. So let's all welcome Liz this morning.
Yeah, okay. Well, I am so grateful. I just have to take a moment. Some of you I know, some of you are new. Sue, hi Sue. Adam, what's your name in the back? Yeah. So I'm seeing faces, and I know that I'd like to say I'm seeing faces in that Zoom room Carol Delbon specifically, hi Carol, only because she said she was planning and wanted to be here and then couldn't, and she said, well, if you could say hi to me. So there I did. I remembered. So yes, Center for Spiritual Living, Tahoe-Truckee. When I landed here, I thought I died and went to heaven, but I was living in heaven because the people are angels. And of course, we had that property that was overlooking the lake and all that. And this is just as wonderful because Sue Pipo just revamped the whole thing, and yay for Sue. So it is so sweet to be back here. I'm on vacation, and Mark Twain has this statement, I'm working on vacation if you want it. But Mark Twain says, the secret of success is to make your vocation your vacation, which is pretty much what I do. And because I love so much, and so I want to thank Pam, Reverend Pam, for giving me this opportunity to come back and be with my Tahoe family. Because I do have, you're my family, you're my Tahoe tribe. And it was boot camp, but it was also a honeymoon. I looked at it as the honeymoon boot camp because I got trained, and I thank y'all for having me here to give me the training so I can be where I am today. And so let's get started with today's talk. And so it is embracing self-care. That is the overall theme. And for today specifically, it's the evolution of self-care. So, how many believe that self care is important? Everybody's hand is going to go up. And you all have some self care practices, right? I would imagine so. So, how many of you know how self care came to be? When it actually started, that term even came into being? Anyone? Oh, goody. So, I am going to share with you the history, and I'd like to say, is it okay for me to share the history and evolution? And you're going to say yes, because I'm doing it anyway. So I'm going to share with you that the self-care word actually came into being in the 1950s. And it was the ideology of self-care originated in the 50s in the medical community. It was the rise of patient or person centered care, and they put this emphasis on what can you do to assist yourself in being healthy. The medical profession actually was like, instead of us trying to take care of you, what you can do to take care of yourself. So that's when it there started. That term even came into being. And so it was actually integrated into the medical ethics teaching. Who knew that there was medical ethics? Right? And it was first used in the mental hospitals for institutionalized patients and encouraging these patients to have self care, like exercising and grooming, to help them eat well and such things, to help them help themselves and build their self worth. Then 1960s came along. This was news to me. Y'all heard of the Black Panther, right? The Black Panther group, actually, party, was what took the self care and elevated it because they said that they were known for promoting social justice and change. The Black Panther Party used the radical idea of self care to fight against systemic racism. They understood the important role that self care played for the rights of women, black people, and marginalized communities at large. And for the Black Panthers to keep their momentum, they said we have to take care of ourselves. That just blew my mind. I had no idea. So they encouraged acts of self care so that they could continue to stay energized and not burn out and to fight for justice. They started programs and groups because there also wasn't any programs or groups for the medical care really for the black community. I mean, this is the civil rights time, right? So it was community based. Self care was actually community based and value driven. And practicing self-care, again, was the only way that lasting social justice could actually happen against the police brutality and the systemic racism. Moving into the 1970s, the Black Panther movement continued to elevate this self-care, and they actually released a 10-point program for the health and well-being of the black community. They said we want completely free health care for all the black and oppressed people. Health facilities that not only treat our illnesses, which most of these illnesses came up upon them because of the oppression, but would also develop preventative medical programs to guarantee their future survival. So, who knew that? Who did anyone here know? I mean, seriously. So, it was it was that self-care to avoid burnout. 1980s, carrying these ideas forward, the black lesbian woman who's heard of Audre Lorde, prominent activist in the 80s, also said, caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it's self-preservation and is an act of political warfare. Did you know that self-care was an act of political warfare? But you know what? I can see if you are fighting a fight against systemic anything, so how are you going to keep that energy up? So then you go into the 2000s. Now, the decade of actually the 90s was a time of economic boom and political peace, not a time of revolution. However, it was after the events of 9/11 that self-care again got elevated because of the trauma that people were having. And it became the attack sparked a new movement of trauma therapy for veterans, victims, and first responders. So self-care rose to a new prominence. Here we go into the 2010s. For anybody, I hope this doesn't offend you, but this is what was written. With the election of President Trump in 2016, 2016, the term self-care exploded. For 6 days, November 13th through November 19th, the post-election, the term self-care saw a spike in search interest in Google Trends. A self-care guide of television, the articles were being published. And the names of two of them were, one was a self-care guide of TV to watch, to forget about Donald Trump's rise. The other one was the rise of Donald Trump demand we embrace a harder kind of self-care. It became a nationally recognized necessity somewhat overnight. So it was basically the recession of 2008, 9/11, President Trump coming in, that this elevated, and self-care has now become pretty much a popular word. Everybody knows self-care, it's viral, and so did you learn something? Yeah. Okay, I thought you might. So I was like, who knew all that was going on? So we now have the evolution of self-care, but what about the evolution of our personal self-care? So basically, self-care is when you live life to the fullest, and self-care is a necessity to live life to the fullest. And we must embrace and practice self-care every single day. It's our commitment to self-care isn't only for ourselves, but it affects everybody that is with us, that is around us, that we are connected to. And Parker Palmer has this quote from the book, Let Your Life Speak. And he says, it might be up there, it's coming, the latest attraction. Self-care is never a selfish act. It is good stewardship. Anytime we give ourselves the care we require, we do it not only for ourselves, but for the many others' lives that we touch. And the Black Panthers, this wasn't about just doing it for yourself. It was because we're doing it for the world. Anyone ever experienced burnout? Especially in working in churches, perhaps at times that could happen. People who I know, people who are doing everything all the time, and that's not really healthy, to be honest. To take that time for self care and to make sure that you're taking care of your needs. Anyone ever feel that you have others that do? Any caregivers in here that you had to give care to others? And did you ever feel guilty, like that you wanted to put your needs first, or you continued to put other people's needs before your own? Anyone ever experienced that? Anyone ever be told that they were selfish because, you need to take care of me or whomever it is, and putting kids first, perhaps aging parents first, loved ones? I mean, we have others that we do care for. This community is all about love. You're going to be caring for others, but do you care for yourself? And I often find that it's a challenge for some people to give that to themselves. I was once been told I was selfish. And my reply to that was, well, you might see me as selfish. I see myself as being healthy. I call it being healthy. Because if I don't take care of myself, as you all know, you've all been on airplanes, who gets the mass oxygen mask first? We do. We can't say, oh, well, you take it first. No, that doesn't work. We have to. It's a must to take care of ourselves. So, being healthy. Cheryl Richardson, this is a book that I would totally recommend. And The Art of Extreme Self-Care. And tagline is Transform Your Life One Month at a Time. This is a great book. She basically has practices, talks about things, and you do 1 month of a specific idea in self-care. Anybody ever have a hard time saying no? There is a chapter on that. She talks about guilty. Let's see, some of the things that she says. I love this. Oh, did you ever not want to disappoint people? Right? So one of them is actually the idea is disappoint people and say no. Uh, when she calls, you're so sensitive, mirror, mirror on the wall, let me disappoint you, right? Anyone have a hard time letting somebody else do something because they know that they could do it better? Oh, no, 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 here, right? Take Your Hands Off the Wheel is the name of that chapter. So there's a lot in here, and part of what goes on for a lot of us is we don't want to say no, right? We want to be helpful. We have a heart that wants to help and care for others. So to say no, to disappoint someone, not knowing how to do that, oh, and we all want to be liked, but nobody here has that. So just sometimes we don't want to have conflict. Anybody like to avoid conflict and just go for the peace? So we don't speak our truth. That I personally need to have some time to myself. I'm so sorry, but I'm going to. But it's the healthiest thing we can do for ourselves. So knowing that self-care is healthy. It's healthy for you and it's healthy for those that you love. It's healthy for all beings. So be selfish. Take care of you. It's okay. In fact, it's not just good, okay, it's good to take care of you and make yourself and your self-care a priority. So let's name some self-care practices that you engage in. So this is your time to call out. I'll try to hear the people on Zoom. I'll do my best. But so tell me things that you do in the self-care practices. Nap. I listed that one. What else?
I've learned to say, based on my initial reaction, I'd say no. I'd rather say no now than say yes and regret it later.
Okay, and I'm going to repeat that so that the people on Zoom do get to hear it. I've learned that in my boot camp, or not really, but since COVID. So saying no instead of saying yes and regretting it later is an act of self-care, and that you pay attention to that at the get-go. Okay, only two self-care practices. Working out, exercising, yes.
Yeah, I get up every morning and don't let the old man in.
I hear that. I need to be doing more self-care in the exercise and getting to Planet Fitness. Yes.
I take a walk in the woods.
Take a walk in the woods. Nature is often at place. And we have to take the time. I can live in a beautiful place, but I take the time. Make the time. Say, later, I'm going to take this for me, half hour or an hour. Yes.
Read for pleasure.
Read for pleasure. What a concept. My inner child would like me to do more of that, because everything we have is not that. I need more of that. Thanks. Yes. Others.
Treating myself to food out.
Going out for a nice food thing. Yes. Right for pleasure.
Yeah. Start your day with 365 days of richer living.
Read Richer Living, the 365 days. Again, reading the Daily Word or something. Yeah, that book of Ernest Holmes. And
Getting enough sleep.
getting enough sleep. Okay, so we have, yes. Do nothing. I don't even know what that is. So you, yes.
Asking people to help me on things that are too physical.
Asking for help, things that are too physical, asking for help in any way, fashion, because, hey, I don't know about you, but I was raised with, you can do it yourself. And, I'd call Adam and go, Adam, help me with this tech stuff because I can't do it. So we have a lot of self-care practices. Now, most of these are practices that are physical practices that we do with our body, taking a nap and making sure that the body temple is cared for by exercising, eating, and such things, taking walks in nature, writing. It's all kind of that physical. So, self-care, where does self-care actually begin? Thank you. It begins in your mind. Self-care always begins in our minds. Basically, there is no self-care without the mind. The way you perceive yourself and behave starts in your mind. And the key is how you perceive yourself. And the truth is that the foundation of self-care rests upon self-love and self-acceptance. Okay? So how many believe that you love yourselves? Okay, great. Now you don't have to raise your hand for the next one, but when you really screw up royally, do you still love yourself? Yes. Okay, great. How many of you have an inner critic? The one that wants to jump on you whenever it gets an opportunity to slip in there. How many of you had parents that said negative things to you? Yeah, right? So the one I remember from my dad was when I'd screw up and do things and get busted and caught doing things that I wasn't supposed to do was, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? And here's the thing. Dad was no longer in my life, but I internalized that. And so that statement, some of the statements our parents made to us, we're carrying around. We have internalized those in our subconscious. What's wrong with you? And when I finally got a clue as to that's actually Dad's voice, but it's now living in me, I would tell that voice, when I recognize it, go back to Ohio. Go back to Ohio. You don't have residence in here. So here's the thing. The point is that we can say and think that we love ourselves unconditionally. However, there's the subconscious part of us that might just not buy into it 100%. You know, there's those parts of us that are buried, um, like that iceberg underneath the surface, that the little kid still has that thought. Eh, I'm not good enough. I didn't do good. I can't have that or do that or be that for whatever reason that we have thought about. So there's another quote. The quote, she goes, yeah, I know the next quote. The next quote is by Melody Beatty. And she says, we can cherish ourselves in our lives. We can nurture ourselves and love ourselves. We can accept our wonderful selves with all our faults. How do you say that? Foibles. I'm like trying to say that yesterday. Foibles. Strong points, feelings, thoughts, and everything else. It's the best thing we've got going for us. It's who we are and who we were meant to be. And it's not a mistake. We are the greatest thing that will ever happen to us. We are the greatest thing. And so to love ourselves, the dark side, again, one of my favorite books, if back in time when I was here, the dark side of the light chasers, about all the things you don't, your shadow self, the part of you that's mean, nasty. You have it. You can say no, 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 and Debbie Ford would say, "What you don't know owns you." So I've learned to embrace my shadow. Um, and in her book, she basically says things like, "Every part of you has a gift to give." Okay, so that's one of the highly recommended books. One of the things, I used to work in a group home for abused and neglected kids down in Orange County, and working the night shift, 10 at night to 8 in the morning. And they had a lot of things in their refrigerator and freezer. And Liz loves ice cream. And they wouldn't miss it if I ate it. And I would sometimes get that gallon of ice cream out and eat half of it. Okay? Because it's sugar, and in the middle of the night, that'll get me going, and it tastes so good. So I'm eating my. And afterwards, I could totally beat myself up, right? Instead, this is what Liz would do. I love you anyway. I want you all to do that. I love you anyway. So when you mess up, because it's to love yourself, not necessarily the behavior. So, and if we really, really, really loved ourselves, maybe we wouldn't engage in some of these behaviors. Um, eating a half a gallon of ice cream one time isn't the worst thing. And here's the thing, my judgment will kill me faster than the eating of that ice cream. Let's say, it's the judgment that kills us, that takes us down more than the action. Now, if I'm really loving myself um, and eating ice cream that much all the time, that's pretty not much, that's not loving, okay? I mean, I might think, oh yeah, that's self-care. I'm giving myself something that I enjoy. No, it's self-abuse, and it's not really loving. There's another quote by Matthew Fox. And Matthew says that one must let go of internalized oppression and dare to see oneself again as an image of God, as an original blessing, as a co-creator with divinity. Self-love is a rare and radical kind of love because it requires a trust of our right to be here and of the universe's love of us. Self-care is a rare and radical love because it requires a trust of our right to be here and to trust that the universe loves us. Now, if you ever call my cell phone, you will hear the phrase, "The universe is absolutely crazy about you." I got that from Reverend Helen Street Durbin, and she lived with the assumption that the universe was absolutely crazy about her. And I said, well, I'd like to have that assumption too. And so I have that assumption. The universe is absolutely crazy about me. And when I have that assumption, I see evidence. Now, of course, you can do the opposite. The universe is out to get you. You'll see evidence because it all starts right here. We get to tell that universe what we are believing because it's going to be whatever it is that we believe is going to be our experience. Back in college, I also felt like God was a million miles away. And God loved me. So what? I didn't love me. And when I got that awareness that God loves me, but I don't love me, so my opinion of myself, my feeling about myself is more important than God's because I'm going by that. And it became my mission at that time that my mission in life is to learn to love Liz unconditionally, no matter what. I want to love myself like God loves me. I'd love you to love yourself that much because our self-care depends on it. Now, I've been talking about the evolution, and I've been talking a lot about the mind because everything starts where? Right here. So your self-care depends on that self-love and what we're talking and saying to ourselves and that self-talk, because I know you're all talking to yourself all the time. And what are you saying? It's paying attention to that. So the evolution of your personal self-care starts in the mind. And T. Harv Eker has this statement. TFAR is the acronym. Thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions, lead to results. Thoughts lead to the feelings, lead to the actions, lead to the results. Say that with me. And you can use your hands. Thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions, lead to the results. So, anybody ever tried to lose weight? A couple of you. So here's the thing. We we know I'm going to take this action. I know what to eat and what not to eat, and I'm going to do whatever it is, and I'm going to release the weight. I never lose weight because then I might find it again. But releasing the weight. So releasing the weight, then you accomplish it. But does it ever creep back on and get so that you've lost it, but now you found it? I read.
My weight and it's still there.
I read the book. The Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting, The Astonishing Power of Feelings. And in that book, because why does the weight come back on? Is because you're just doing the actions. You're not doing the thought and the feeling. So when I read that book, I closed my eyes and the idea was, if I didn't think about food or weight ever again, how would I feel? And I saw this image of a little girl running through the branches of a willow tree. She was free. So I did that on a regular, twice a day. I just went into that feeling. Well, because I was doing the thoughts and the feelings, my actions followed and the results followed, and I didn't rebound with the weight. So, thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions, lead to results. Okay, so everything being in their mind. And there's no self-care without action. Okay, you can think about self-care all you want. How's that working for you, right? You just can't do it in that way. And in science of mind, the saying is treat and, well, what is treating? That's using our mind to think about the divine and that we are actually expressions of divine love. And that we are here to remember that we are the divine in expression all the time, no matter what our behavior is. Sometimes I'm in a low vibration. Well, the caterpillar is the divine as well as the butterfly. And sometimes I have my caterpillar moments. And sometimes I'm in my butterfly moments. But I am the divine in the caterpillar form or the butterfly. So would you like to know some practicality since we've been talking self-care? Well, I'm an acronym queen because that helps me remember, and maybe it'll help you remember. So the acronym is the word care, C-A-R-E. So the first thing is we're going to look at those little sneaky thoughts that come in that aren't very loving, that your inner critic might want to sneak in there. And when you have that little thought come in, the idea is that you want to catch it in the moment. And you can say, cancel, cancel. Now, Ernest Holmes has a quote. Got to have some Ernie, right? And Ernest talks about our mind. He says, we must come to believe that at the center of our lives there is a wholeness, and we should think of the mind as the door through which it enters. Therefore, we should be very careful to guard what comes into the mind from the opinions of others, and to regulate what comes into it from any source. Now, a shorter version of that is Emerson, one of my favorite quotes. He says, stand guard at the portal of your mind. Say that with me. Stand guard at the portal of my mind. So, that whole thing is about C. The C stands for cancel, cancel, or go back to Ohio. Whatever it takes, stop. But cancel, cancel. So the C is that cancel that thought before it takes hold. Because I don't know about you, but there's another acronym, ANTS, automatic negative thoughts. You have one negative thought in like an ant. They follow each other, and then there'll be another one, and then you got a spiral. Don't go there. So now we're cancel, cancel. Now the A, we want to affirm, and affirmations is big in New Thought. And what are we affirming? I like short affirmations. I'll give you a few. And actually, Colleen, the God is here. I just love that, by the way. And I just have to stop for a second. Thank God for you. And can we just give Colleen some love? Because she walks in the door. Nancy's like, we don't have a musician. And she was getting a little, I'm like, well, we'll sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. I don't know. Well, thank God you came in so we didn't have to sing. What a gift you are. Okay, back to the script of something. So the A, to affirm. You can say things like, God loves me. My pet loves me. I love me. If you're struggling with that, you start with something else, because I just said, I love me. And part of me is going, no, you don't. But you start with something else that you can graduate in. So, God loves me. My pet loves me. Brenda loves me. I love me. Another one I like is the I am loved. I am lovable. I am loved. I am lovable. I am loving. I am love. I am loved. I am lovable. I am loving. I am love. So just repeating that is another way to bring ourselves into the self-lovingness. And I thought I had one more. Let's see. Oh, I have to tell you this one. Louise Hay. You might know of Louise Hay. Most of us do. One of the greatest metaphysicians of our time. She has this in her book, You Can Heal Your Life. I approve of myself. And she says, say it for 100 times. So let's just say it 3 times. I approve of myself. I approve of myself. I approve of myself. Now, I did this, I approve of myself, the first time I ever saw it. I did it all day long. And then I would emphasize different words. I approve of myself. I approve of myself. I approve of myself. I was just playing with it. I had the best day ever. I don't know why I don't do that more. I approve of myself. Okay, so now we got the A. We're affirming that because we want to build that self-love. R. The R stands for the repeat reflection. Looking into the mirror. How many times do you look in the mirror and say, I love you, Liz? I know. And you can say, I love you, Liz. Anytime you look in the mirror, you can go, I love you, Liz. You might put your name in, but, I love you, Liz works for me. So there's a chapter in here, Mirror Mirrors, chapter 2, and Cheryl Richardson and Louise Hay were on Oprah. And basically the whole thing that Louise said, do the mirror work. Every time you look in the mirror. So Cheryl does this, and she talks in the book about how she'd look in the mirror and she just sees the wrinkles or the gray hair or the zit or whatever is going on and doesn't really want to, and it's uncomfortable at the beginning. So the challenge is for you, every time you see a mirror, even if you put down your visor and you're looking at your lipstick or something, you're like, oh, I love you, Liz. Oh, or you may use your name if you want. So to do that for the next 30 days, because she said it changed things. It's a simple thing. But what kind of effect does it have? Do it as an experiment. What happens if I say, I love you, Liz, or your name, um, every day, every time I look in the mirror? I'm going to challenge you to do that and find out what changes. Maybe make notes. And last, so that's to repeat. I'm using the R as repeat in the reflection. So that's to remind you of the R. And E, what does E stand for? I don't know. What? To embrace self-care. And to embrace self-care means to make a commitment. Okay? Commit to two things, doing your inner work and also what can you do differently in your self-care, like exercising. My commitment is I'm actually going to Planet Fitness, not just have a gym pass and not going, right? So doing something, and I suggest having an accountability partner. Because I don't know about you, but I can just let things slide. But if I have to call Rick every Monday and say, I didn't do it. We used to have something where you had to tear up a $1 bill or $2. Talk about, it's $2. If I don't make my commitment and I talk to Brenda, guess what? I have to rip up $2. It is so painful to rip up money. It's sacrilegious, I think. So it will actually, you will actually do it, even if it's at the last minute, because you don't want to rip up that $2. It's only $2, but it's still, your faces are like telling me, I can't rip up money. Well, no, not in the poor box. Nope, because that's easy. Ripping it up, it's not going anywhere. You're just, because you didn't make your commitment. It's a bigger thing to rip it up. It's going to be more motivating. Okay, so self-care, evolution. Are you ready to have more self-care in your life? Who said yes? Anybody? Let's try that again. Yes. Anybody ready to have more self-care in their life? Yes. And what does it depend on? Self-love. What is it again? Self-love. Thank you. Okay, just making sure a couple of the points got made. And now we're going to pray. We're going to pray because the hook's coming out. Ministers, I don't know. So let's just take a moment to be still and notice our breath. Just noticing the gentle rhythm, recognizing that we're not making ourselves breathe, that we actually are being breathed by the life force and source itself, spirit, God, the divine, love consciousness. There is a life force and source that is everywhere present. It is surrounding us. It is breathing us. We are energy centers of love, here to remember who we are, that we are the divine in expression, and that loving ourselves is the way to love God. We are open to and ready to, and we are beginning to love ourselves unconditionally. And letting that be our consciousness, we allow ourselves to feel the love. Feel completely loved and see ourselves easily taking actions that really show how much we love ourselves. knowing that as we love ourselves, we are loving every person in this room and in our communities and in our lives, because we are in truth one. Everything that I do, everything that you do, everything that we do for ourselves as self-love is rippling out. And our world, as Nancy said, needs more love. And it begins with us. And so I give thanks for this opportunity to know the truth for ourselves, that we are engaging in that self-love and self-care in greater ways, starting today and in all the days to come. And so we let this word go, knowing that it is already fulfilling itself because it is believed, it is achieved. That is the law. And we let it go because it is so. And together in agreement, love and joy, we say together, and so it is. And so it is.
Good, I have all these notes now. You can have them back. Although I should probably keep them. Yeah, this looks like a great book too. Thanks. Thanks, Liz. So we can all be going, okay, where in my life am I not taking care of myself the way that I know I should? Yeah, no shoulding. I know.
Could.
That I could. I like that.
Could works.
Yeah, we know that should thing.
Yeah.
Don't should on me, right? Oh my gosh, I don't even know where I am.
It's Tahoe Vista.
No, on this. This is different. But you know what? I keep forgetting that we have a musician here too. So let's do that. Would you like to do something else, Colleen? Sure. I would love it if you did just another little song for us. Yes.
You know, the picture that comes to mind is from the book of Psalms of the deer panting for the water, and all the little images that are in the lineup to choose for the newsletter. There is a picture of in one of them of a deer at the edge of a lake, just having a drink, and. So as you're talking about self-care, I'm thinking about the deer, and there is a song that is from the Book of Psalms, and I like to. This is a song that when I need to do my self-care, I sing this song to myself, and it's my inner child singing to my soul, and I think we might tweak the words a little bit, so you'll forgive me for that, right? Don't report me. As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to be with thee. You alone are my strength, my shield. To you alone may my spirit yield. You alone are my heart's desire, and I long to be with you. I was born just to praise you, to worship you
alone. So I come into your presence and I offer you this song. As the deer panteth for the water, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my heart's desire, and my heart belongs to thee.
Wow, Colleen, you mind blower. Anyway, thank you, Colleen. So it's time for our it's abundance time. Yippee-doo. Oh my goodness. So it's our prosperity time, really. So at Tahoe-Truckee CSL, we know that God is our infinite source for our center and for each of us as individuals. So if you're inspired by today's gathering, please consider sharing your abundance with our spiritual community. Donations of time, talent, treasure support our community. So there are lots of ways to give. We can do cash checks. We can do automatic debit. We do PayPal. We do Venmo. It's your choice. There are many, many ways to give. So just hold your offering on your heart. Got mine here. Okay. And we have an affirmation on the screen. So if you'll say with me, in everything I give thanks. I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my inner source. My gift blesses the center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities. So we have a little Karen Drucker here. Or maybe, no, let's have Colleen. We don't need Karen Drucker when we have Colleen around. Genau. I'm so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful.
I am so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
How true is that? We are so blessed. That might make me cry. Anyway, but I just am so grateful for all the blessings this morning and for all that is given, because we know as we give, we receive. And so, in that, knowing, I'm great gratitude this morning always for knowing that God is really our source. We don't have to go anywhere beyond that, using our minds, the feelings, all of it. Thank you, Liz. That God is really our source and our inspiration. And so in knowing that, I just thank you, and in great gratitude we say together, and so it is. So we've gone a little over time this morning. Can you believe that? Yeah, I know. It just slips away, doesn't it? So I'm not going to go through a whole lot of this stuff. We do have a website, tahoecsl.org, that has everything on it. If you need to know about I don't even know what that is up there. If you need to know anything about what is going on in our center, and we have a lot going on, you can go to tahoecsl.org and find out. But the important things are to thank Liz for being here this morning. Karen Heine back there on she's on the Zoom hosting. Our musician Colleen, and we have hospitality. So I thank Shirley Nelson for being in charge of hospitality, and so many people have brought food also. So please join us. All of you who are new, we're so glad that you came and joined us this morning, and we'd like to have some time to get to know you. So we do that at hospitality, which is in this room back here. So please join us for hospitality, and you Zoomers too. We'll have a chance to say hello to them on later. Anyway, thank you to the Zoomers. I guess the biggest thing that we have so much going on, good grief, is there are 2 memorial services coming up, and I just wanted to remind everyone that Marty Mosier's memorial service is June 24th, 4 to 6, and it will be at her home in Glenshire and Truckee. And, they would like for you to RSVP. You can get back to me for anyone who would like to go, because I've been kind of talking with Heather, Marty's daughter. And so that she really wanted to make sure that we all knew that about the service, and would love for everyone to come and remember Marty's life. But we also have a memorial service for Reverend Alice Ross, who was the founding minister here. And that will be taking place on July 15th at the Donner. There's a picnic area north of Truckee for Donner, but we'll get into that later on, as we're still in June, thank goodness. Anyway, so we have I'm going to just say we have a lot of stuff going on, but I don't want to get into all of that because I know we've really gone a long time today. So we'll just go ahead and just do our closing song. How's that? Unless it's going to be online. Oh, and you know what? Let's just welcome our children. Rosalina's here. So we just do this. That adorable little girl. We see you. We hear you. We love you. You are a gift from God. Okay, so we're going to have our e-bike group meets on Tuesdays. I was seeing Sue back there going, huh? 10 o'clock at Dollar Crossing. So we're just waiting for the music to come up. So if you'd like to stand, this is Gary Lynn Floyd. We love you.
One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. And together we can make a difference in our world. Every creed and color, every boy and girl, all of creation, no separation. We are one heart. One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. One heart, one life. We are one family, one earth.
We weren't done. And then we have an affirmation somewhere.
I am the affirmation.
Oh, this is the affirmation.
Okay. So, if you would like to repeat after me, I'm so happy and grateful for knowing the truth, that I'm a divine being, full of love, full of life, And I love myself. More than ever before. That's a good thing. That's a God thing. And so it is. Yippee do. Yippee done. And so it is.
Please join us for hospitality.